Stop thinking Intel is fixed. Seriously. If you saw the stock hit record highs and thought Intel is back, you are buying the hype, not the fundamentals. Here is the counterintuitive truth that the headlines won't tell you. Lip-Bhutan won the battles. The war is not over. He won over Trump. The US government is now Intel's third largest shareholder. He won over Musk, a massive partnership for a factory complex. Apple and Tesla are showing interest in manufacturing. Stock is at record highs. But inside Intel, 65% yield rate. TSMC does 80% plus. Intel's cost per chip is 3 times higher. Their AI accelerator chips can't compete with Nvidia. They're outsourcing important products to TSMC. And the culture? When deadlines are missed, teams say, let's adjust the schedule by 2 more weeks. That doesn't happen at Qualcomm or ARM. Lip-Bhutan has a very hard job. One analyst said, more chance than anyone, but not easy. Let me break down what's really happening at Intel, and stay until the end for the 3 secrets that will change how you evaluate every turnaround stock. I'll admit something. When I saw Intel's stock hit record highs, I felt FOMO. Did I miss the turnaround? Then I looked at the numbers, and I realized turnarounds take years, not months. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what Lip-Bhutan has achieved, and what he hasn't. We're going to look at the Trump deal, the Musk partnership, the Apple and Tesla interest, but also the 65% yield rate, the 3 times cost disadvantage, the culture problem. By the end, you will understand why the stock is up, and why the real work is just beginning. Stay with me. Let's start with what Lip-Bhutan walked into when he became CEO in March 2025. The yield problem. Intel's manufacturing yield rate, approximately 65%. TSMC's yield rate, 80% plus. This means for every 100 chips Intel tries to make, 35 are defective. For TSMC, only 20 are defective. The cost problem. Because of the yield gap, Intel's cost per chip is 3 times higher than TSMC's. That's not a small disadvantage. That's catastrophic in a price-sensitive market. The product problem, Intel's AI accelerator chips cannot compete with Nvidia. They're not even close. The outsourcing irony. Intel is outsourcing its own important products to TSMC. The company that was supposed to beat TSMC is paying TSMC to make their chips. The counterintuitive truth? Lip-Bhutan inherited one of the hardest turnarounds in tech history. The stock price doesn't reflect the depth of the problems. Now let me show you what Lip-Bhutan has achieved, because it's genuinely impressive. Victory number 1. Trump. After a public blow-up during a White House meeting, Tan turned the confrontation into a deal. The US government is now Intel's third largest shareholder. Michael Dell helped broker the relationship. Victory number 2. Elon Musk. Musk visited an Intel plant. A photo was taken. A partnership was announced. Massive factory complex. The details are still emerging, but the symbolism matters. Victory number 3. Apple and Tesla. Both companies are showing interest in Intel manufacturing. Apple currently uses TSMC exclusively. If Intel wins even a fraction of Apple's business, that's billions in revenue. The stock reaction, record highs. The market is betting that Tan can deliver. The counterintuitive truth? These are relationship wins, not operational wins. Winning over Trump and Musk is not the same as fixing 65% yields. The stock is pricing in success that hasn't happened yet. Now let me show you the problem that, honestly, no press release can solve. The culture at Intel, when a deadline is missed, the team doesn't panic. They don't work through the weekend. Instead, they just say, well, let's adjust the schedule by 2 more weeks. The contrast here is pretty stark. At Qualcomm, that doesn't happen. At ARM, that doesn't happen. And at TSMC, that definitely doesn't happen. Here's a pretty eye-opening statistic. Lip-Bu-Tan said 80% of the organization needs to be brought into a sense of urgency. That's not just a small fix, that's a cultural transformation. Why does this matter? You can have the best strategy in the world, the best customers, the best government support. But if your culture accepts mediocrity, you will fail. The counterintuitive truth? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Peter Drucker said it decades ago, and honestly, it's still true today. Lip-Bu-Tan is fighting a cultural battle just as much as a technological one. Now let me explain Lip-Bu-Tan's actual plan. First decision. No breakup. Some analysts wanted Intel to split, manufacturing separate from design. Tan said no. He's keeping them together. His reasoning is that integration is Intel's potential advantage. If you can design and manufacture, you can optimize in ways TSMC cannot. His focus, Phase 1. Customers. Tan spent his first months as CEO talking to customers, not engineers. Customers. He wanted to understand, what do you need? Why aren't you buying Intel? His focus, Phase 2. Internal urgency. By the end of June 2026, he will have built his internal team. Then the real work begins. His manufacturing priority is a sense of urgency in manufacturing. The yields must improve. The costs must come down. There is no other path. The counterintuitive truth? Tan is taking the long view. He's not trying to fix Intel in 12 months. He's building for 5 years. Wall Street wants quarterly results. Tan is thinking decadal. That tension is the risk for the stock. Let me leave you with the 3 secrets that connect everything we just discussed. Secret number 1. The relationship versus operations trap. Winning over Trump, Musk, Apple, and Tesla is real progress. But relationships do not fix 65% yields. The market is pricing relationships. The stock will reprice when yields improve. Make sure you know which one you're betting on. Secret number 2. The culture eats strategy. Reality. You can have the best plan in the world. But if 80% of your organization lacks urgency, the plan will fail. Lip-Bu-Tan knows this. That's why cultural transformation is his priority. But cultural transformation takes years, not months. Secret number 3. The breakup question. Tan said no breakup, but the question will not go away. If manufacturing continues to struggle, activists will push for a split. The no breakup stance could become a vulnerability if results don't improve. Watch for activist investors. So what should you actually do with this information? If you are an Intel bull, you believe Lip-Bu-Tan is the right person. He has the relationships. He has the plan. But be patient. Turnarounds take time. The stock may be ahead of the fundamentals. Watch yield rates. Watch cost per chip. Those are the real metrics. If you are an Intel bear, you see 65% yields and 3 times costs. You see a culture that accepts missed deadlines. You may be right in the short term, but don't underestimate Lip-Bu-Tan. He's done hard things before. If you are cautious, wait. Let Tan build his team. Let the culture shift happen. There will be opportunities to buy if the stock pulls back. Do not chase the record high based on headlines. The analyst quote to remember: Lip-Bu को बहुत मुश्किल हाथ मिली, किसी से भी ज़्यादा चांस है, लेकिन easy नहीं होगा. Translation: Lip-Bu has a very hard job. More chance than anyone, but not easy. That's the most honest assessment you'll read. Here's my question for you. Do you believe Lip-Bu-Tan can turn Intel around? Or is the 65% yield gap versus TSMC insurmountable? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. Like and subscribe if you want more myth-busting analysis on turnaround stocks before the crowd figures it out. I'll see you in the next video.